Welcome back to Baseball Rambles, everybody. Hope everybody's doing awesome out there, staying safe, enjoying the good weather. Glad to be back after a bit of a hiatus. Had to take care of some family and myself. And as I say, family is the number one. And talking about family, want to say a big thank you to my subscriber family who's held firm with me, supported me over this vlogging. Really appreciate everybody who hit subscribe, shares, likes, and comments. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And like giving away prizes to subscribers, so we're going to have one coming up real soon, and you're going to get in on that. So, before the off-season started, I did some vlogs talking about how the Blue Jays were really handcuffed, wouldn't be signing any big long-term contracts, and that's going to lead to a very mediocre season. And I think that's what we're seeing unfolding right now with Toronto. And we'll get into some of these vlogs later of what is going on with Bichette and Vlad, if there's going to be some big trades, and if there is a rebuild coming up soon for Toronto, and if our competitive window is actually closing. But more importantly, I think we need to talk about why Toronto has put themselves into this situation. And I really believe it goes back to the offseason just after the 2021 Blue Jays season. That's right, that year where they fell short of the playoffs by just one game. It was a heartbreaker, but in doing so, it was very pivotal that the Jays locked up some of their young talent. Manoah, maybe. I know that might have been a head scratcher. But certainly Bo Bichette and Vladdy, maybe even Alejandro Kirk. None of this has happened. It got to a point where Bo Bichette was so frustrated with the lack of off-season talk that he just wanted to be bought out for his remainder of his arbitration seasons. And that being said, Bo Bichette will definitely walk from Toronto at the end of next season. So this leaves the Jays in a very tough spot. By not extending them early, getting a bit of a deal on them, like other small franchises have done. And I'm not suggesting Toronto's not a small franchise. We're big, top in payroll. But we're certainly not like the Yankees or the Dodgers, who just have endless pits of money to spend on baseball talent. And in doing so, when the Jays had an opportunity like Vladimir Guerrero and Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and maybe, retrospect, Alek Manoah, to lock them up and maybe not long term, but extend them at least 1 or 2 years past their arbitration years, would have been huge. And not one of them were done. Just complete crickets. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem for Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro if a rebuild does happen. Because if they would have locked Bo and Vlad, Kirk, and even Manoah out for another 2 years past their arbitration, maybe to the end of 2026, we wouldn't be handcuffed this offseason. Why? We're kind of like the Angels with Ohtani. Maybe a little bit premature, but in saying that, if we don't make the playoffs, if we're tanking this season, do we let it all ride for a chance for next season to maybe win the World Series? Is this the type of team next year that's going to go deep into the playoffs? I really don't think so. So then do we just hold on to Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero, and all this talent that we have just for the sake of selling tickets? That really frustrates me even more. It might be an opportunity to trade away Bo and Vlad and Kirk and Barrios and Gausman, and the list goes on. Rebuild our farm system to a certain extent. But it's a shame that we had to do it this early. And that is really where Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro stubbed their toe. Because if they would have extended some of this core talent earlier on, we wouldn't have to be put in this situation so early and really forced to have that rebuild. Yeah, you can have off years as long as you have your talent signed for afterwards. But what happens when you have an off year when your competitive window is closing? Really puts the pressure on upper management, and I hope they don't go plan B, trading away the entire farm system in some hectic frenzy to try to push this year. Look how far ahead the Orioles are. That's a team that's built their talent well, and I suspect some big offseason signings coming. The Jays are far behind now, and they don't have the most important thing to catch up: time. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Glad to be back rambling. Got some good ones coming up soon. We're going to talk about this rebuild if it's going to happen. More importantly, leave your comments below. Always appreciate to hear what you have to say. Hit that subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Take care now.